So yeah, come to think of it, in terms of prosthetics, do you think those would even be necessary if there was some kind of gene that would allow for regeneration, kind of like in reptiles?
Well, obviously, because prosthetics, if there was a gene possible in humans that there is similar to in the reptiles, there really wouldn't be a need for prosthetic limbs because we'd already have regrown some.
Right, exactly. And although we do have regenerative capabilities, I mean, reptiles obviously do it so much quicker because they have the gene in them for that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for us, it's just a bodily process with the cells reproducing just at their normal slow speed. But then reptiles, they have the gene in certain cells that allow them to speed up. It's kind of like their own enzyme catalyst in a way where it speeds up the reaction, but it's not exactly its own reaction, rather it's just a cell multiplication and it happens so quickly.
And it's kind of like being born.
Exactly, except it takes so much less time because it's only a single limb. And imagine if we could deconstruct that into a way, we could deconstruct that and reconstruct it into a format that humans could use, because it's pretty obvious that you can't use a reptile function in a human being, which would be, let's say, warm-blooded animal, cold-blooded animals. There are so many differences between, let's say, mammals and reptiles, and it seems like it would be nearly impossible to work with. But given the right circumstances, you could break it down and reassemble it into a way that we could use, and you would be able to regrow things, and it would be, nearly painless, considering it would be instinctive and not a process that we trigger ourselves.
So what you're saying is that even though we do have the cells required for us to regenerate these different body parts or skin.
Right, it happens so slowly that it's almost negligible. It's like, just say you get a paper cut. It already takes a while for that to heal.
Okay, so basically you're saying that if we did have the same abilities that the reptiles had in doing this sort of form of regeneration, we wouldn't really need this prosthetic.
Right, you wouldn't need prosthetics whatsoever. You could just regrow everything. Nervous system would still be attached to it because it would be your nervous system. You wouldn't have to worry about functioning in a certain way so that way you can live out a normal life. You wouldn't. Research would also not have to be so extensive anymore, because now you wouldn't have to worry about, let's say, coming up with the perfect leg, which would be aesthetically and let's say, comfort-wise, pleasing to the bearer of the legs. That way they don't feel like they're just a machine now, or they're useless without that extra limb, but they actually feel like they're a full person again.
So that extra effort into putting correct measurements would be belittled.
Right, exactly.
But what about the brain?
You see, that's the only problem there. I mean, there have been a lot of things going around saying that, so the brain, it's made up of neurons, and those things fire off electric impulses. The problem is electric impulses aren't cells, so when the brain regenerates, although the memories are electric impulses,
the memories will stay the same.
Yeah, you won't be able to retain said memories because they're the electric. Like, let's say if I took this chocolate milk and I drank it. Every time I drink this kind of chocolate milk, that same sequence of neurons is going to fire off. Like, let's say if you have a set number of memories and then you get like a combination from that chocolate milk, like a 1-to-1 combination of the neurons firing off. Those still won't be regenerated. So let's say if someone were to lose a piece of their brain, they're still permanently crippled even so. Like, how, let's say...
It would be like saying that gaining those new memories would be exactly like after being born, because those
Right, exactly. You don't have the memories anymore. You have an entirely new person. They're just a blank slate with the same face.